In 1985, the clapper turned a simple lamp into a futuristic gadget. 2 years later, waterbeds made up roughly 1 out of every 5 mattress sales in America. And in millions of homes, popcorn ceilings were still being sprayed overhead because they were cheap, fast, and hid flaws well. That was the 1980s. If something felt modern, practical, or a little over the top, it quickly became part of the home. Here are the weirdest trends that took over American homes in the 1980s. Buckle up, because a few of these aged about as well as milk left out on the counter. The human back. Its underlying muscle structure creates a surface of complex curves and contours, and to conform, a sleeping surface has to adapt to that unique design. No other bed can do that as well as a Big Z waterbed. Right now. By 1987, waterbeds made up roughly 22% of all mattress sales in America, which still sounds unbelievable now. Just seeing one made it feel like the future had landed in somebody's bedroom. But once a full-size waterbed was filled, it could weigh around 1,600 pounds. Basically, a baby hippo parked next to your nightstand. You needed a heater because sleeping on cold water was miserable. And if that vinyl ever got punctured, you were not dealing with a bed anymore. You were dealing with a flood and a very confused insurance claim. In a lot of homes, especially over that floral living room couch, plastic covers were just part of the setup. The whole point was to protect the good furniture, especially in houses where that sofa was supposed to last for years. But sitting on it was another matter entirely. Every little move came with that sound, your own personal living room sound effects reel. And in the summer, your legs could stick to it before long. A lot of us could probably still walk into mom's or grandma's house and find one there today, daring anyone to actually sit down. You have 11 news messages. All right? By the end of the 1980s, roughly 3 out of every 5 American homes had a standalone answering machine sitting next to the phone. The machine itself was simple. Families recorded songs, jokes, sound effects, and little comedy routines that were funny once, and then played for every caller for the next 6 months, whether they liked it or not. Sometimes the greeting ran so long you almost forgot why you called in the first place. That little beep was not just a signal, it was the start of a performance. Before you even sat down in some 1980s bathrooms, you had to deal with a fuzzy toilet lid cover that never wanted to stay up. These shaggy sets came with a lid cover and a matching rug around the toilet, exactly the kind of coordinated bathroom set Sears loved to sell. They were supposed to make the room feel soft, warm, and pulled together. But all that thick fabric was sitting in the one room in the house with the most moisture. Cozy was one word for it. Clean was another matter entirely. Clap on the clapper. The clapper was supposed to be the future of home automation. And when it came out in 1985, it really felt that way. The first time we saw somebody clap their hands and the lamp came on, it looked like pure magic. 2 claps turned on one device. 3 claps controlled another, and that clap-on, clap-off jingle got stuck in everybody's head. Of course, real life was less elegant. A dog barked, a door slammed, or the TV got loud, and suddenly the living room was making decisions on its own, like a roommate who never asked permission. Builders loved popcorn ceilings because they were cheap, fast, and great at hiding every little flaw in the drywall underneath. They also absorbed sound, which made them seem even more practical. So in the 80s, they were everywhere. But they also trapped dust, grease, smoke, and all kinds of grime nobody talked about. And anybody who has ever tried scraping one off knows that what looked harmless overhead turned into one of the messiest jobs in the house, somewhere between a science project and a crime scene. The Chia Pet showed up in 1982, and somehow a clay animal covered in sprouts became one of the strangest gifts in America. There's a new pet. Chia. Chia Pet. The pottery that grows. It's fun and easy. You soaked it, smeared on the chia seeds, set it in a sunny window, and waited. Over the next week or two, it started growing what was supposed to look like fur or hair. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes one side flourished while the other side looked half bald, like it had lost a bet. But that did not matter. Those little terracotta creatures ended up on kitchen counters and windowsills all over the country. The Flowbee was one of those inventions that sounded like a joke until you realized people really bought it. Patented in 1987 and pushed hard in 1988 infomercials, it hooked up to a vacuum cleaner and promised a neat haircut at home. The suction pulled the hair in while the blades trimmed it, and somehow that was supposed to replace a barber. Reviewers compared the sound to standing inside an airplane hangar, which tells you a lot. And yet, by 2000, around 2 million units had been shipped, and George Clooney still insists he has been using one for decades. So really, who's laughing now? Vertical blinds could be found on big windows all over America, and not one set ever seemed to work perfectly. Those long plastic slats hung from a track, turning with a wand or opening with a pull chain, at least in theory. In real life, one slat was always crooked. The track jammed, and brushing past them meant hearing that familiar plastic clatter, the unofficial sound effect of every 80s home movie. Even when they were brand new, they looked one step away from falling apart. Glass block walls started showing up everywhere in the 80s, especially in bathrooms, entryways, and room dividers. Those thick, translucent blocks let light through while still giving a little privacy, which made them feel modern and a little fancy. Builders loved to sell them as a Miami Art Deco touch. In practice, everything behind them looked blurred and underwater, like showering inside a fish tank. That was the magic of the 1980s. So many of these trends were impractical, over-designed, or just plain ridiculous. But at the time, they felt completely normal. And that is exactly why we still remember them.